Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Bigger, and I was feeling a little bit dazed. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, and today I want to talk about head knocks, essentially. At the weekend, let's start again. If you're watching live, please do put some comments in. If you're watching the replay, please feel free to reply or put comments below. If you're on YouTube, I'm always up for a good rugby chat. So, last weekend, what happened? Dan Biggar was playing a game of rugby, as he often does, and in the 58th minute, he took a bang to the head and went off for a head injury assessment. 9 minutes later, he comes back on the pitch and plays the rest of the game. So, on 67 minutes, so just over 10 minutes left of the game, he comes back and plays. At the end of the game, he gets a kick in front of the sticks or near the sticks, and he slices it wide. And obviously this becomes a talking point during the game. And here, this is the piece that really gets us and gets really what I'm talking about, and is what's going to be the topic today. It was a disappointing way to end the game. I really can't remember much of the last 10 minutes, to be honest. I was a little bit dazed. Now, if you're dazed, the last place you should be is on a rugby pitch, where you can be, where you have to be fully aware of your body and what's going on around you. Otherwise, there's a good chance you could get hurt. This player was sent back on the pitch, where he felt dazed. Yes, he passed the HIA, but clearly he wasn't in a fit state to be on the pitch if he was feeling dazed and can't remember what happened. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, I can't say if he was actually concussed or not, but it seems clear to me that this wasn't a safe place to be. And when people say, oh, the players know themselves best, we should let the players choose, here's a prime example of why we should not be letting the players choose. From the comments he's made, it doesn't sound like he feels he shouldn't have been on the pitch. Clearly, at the time, he felt he should be on the pitch. And so we need to protect players from themselves, and we need medical personnel to be doing that. Maybe he did pass this test. He definitely passed the test. Now, with a club doctor. I think we're getting to the stage now where we need to remove club doctors from these decisions, because they do have a conflict of interest, whether they like it or not. They are employed by the club, and we need to have independent doctors carrying these out. We may well have had the same outcome. We may well have gone back on the pitch, but we should be removing that doubt from the whole process. It's a similar opinion to Blood and Mud podcast, who put it in their beep section. They have a good and beep. It's not suitable for work podcast, but they know their rugby and they do talk about some good stuff. And so that's where I'm going with this. Here's a prime example: is that we need to be taking it out of the players' hands, and we need to be doing this. What I really find hard to understand is how the coach can go, Dan went through the HIA, he passed all the tests. We wouldn't be putting someone who wasn't right on the field. I'm sorry, but clearly somebody who wasn't right managed to get back on the field. Now, whether you knew about that he wasn't right or not is open to debate, but you have put someone who was not right back on the pitch, unfortunately. Luckily, he didn't get second impact syndrome, and he lived to tell the tale. That's going to might sound rather dramatic, but there's a thing called second impact syndrome, where if you've had a concussion and you receive a second one, the chances of it being fatal or long-term injury is much higher. And that's, whilst I say I can't for certain say he had concussion, saying you feel dazed sounds awfully lot like concussion. That seems like the situation that he put himself and the club put him back into. Until we change the culture around head injuries and head knocks, all these processes are not going to make any difference. The processes are only as good as the people who are applying it and the people who are and the players themselves. We're not talking about an 18-year-old who's scared for his contract. We're talking about the top fly half in Wales who is in a secure contract, in a secure job, who is supposed to be a mature player, who is a leader of the team, making the wrong choice around a head knock during the game. And that is sad, and that is something that needs to change, or we are going to have more players getting mental illness later in their life, and more players dying as they take the wrong example. And by example, yes, he is. I've just gone totally blank. He is setting an example. He is a role model on the pitch. We can argue whether his actions off the pitch or players' actions in general off the pitch should be counted as role models or not. But on the pitch, there's no debate. They are role models. They are people. They are setting the example of how to play the game. They are the best at what they do. They are setting the example, and this needs to change. Sorry, it's been a bit of a rant today. There probably hasn't been much content. It's just me repeating the fact that concussions are important. But this, to me, is a very important topic in rugby. I've talked about it before, and I'm getting sick of having to talk about it time and again because people aren't listening, or the players aren't listening. And the players are injuring themselves. Thank you very much for that. Do check out my YouTube channel, please. We had a very good discussion today with 2 rugby fans and journalists who sit in wheelchairs, and we talked about inclusivity of wheelchair users as fans and as journalists in rugby. There's been a lot of talk about inclusivity by the clubs, a lot of symbolism of people wearing coloured laces, etc. Let's see, do the clubs actually walk the talk? Do sign up for my weekly newsletter, link above on Twitter or in the notes below on YouTube, and do leave me and do give it the old thumbs up on YouTube if you like it, or share it with your friends if you'd like my little rant today. And I will be back again next week with more live videos for you. Also, I will be at the Eden Park for the Blues versus the Hurricanes, so look out for my live videos from the stands.